It got worse. The more you talk, the worse it got. How much time you got left on him?
Well, I was supposed to be back 12 minutes ago, but yeah.
Let's roll it, baby.
Tell me when you start filming. Now, Jock is dead officially. Like, are we going to the funeral together, or how's that going?
Let's go. Roll it.
Oh, you're rolling. I'm sorry. Whoa. Welcome to May This Be With You, America's most hectic and who knows what co-host will show up this week, TCG podcast. I am, of course, joined by my friend, best friend, and now favorite co-host. It's Donald, right? Donald!
Oh, you're muted, Donald. Unmute yourself. Oh my gosh. Just keep rolling the intro while he figures it out. We don't have time.
Disaster. And I'm, of course, joined by the man who has not been sick 3 days out of this year. Louis DeGeorge.
What is up, everybody?
Welcome to my
Welcome to my sexy voice. This is the best I got.
No. Check.
You're good, Donald. Thank you
for
interrupting my sexy voice. And we are joined by the man who showed up 2 weeks in a row, George. I gotta get new co-hosts, everybody. This is getting into the point where I don't know who's going to be on the podcast every week until now, a day after we're supposed to record. So
I do feel a little used. Like I'm literally just 5 minutes before the podcast. Hey, I don't have any other option. You care to get on?
That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
That's what happened.
Nope. I
find others around
you last night when we decided not to do the podcast late, and you were available. So
I was. I took my lunch for you. I'm having lunch right now.
Every Bitcoin holder should send us a thank you note because Louis and I were going to do our first crypto podcast last night. But the trick is that means that Bitcoin would have never hit 100 because Louis was going to be talking about it. So
please don't invite me to that one.
Bitcoin goes right over 100, no problem.
For every time Donald complains about being on the podcast, somebody in the comment section leave a comment of their application for the podcast, and I'll look into it. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple things. These guys have no clue what we're talking about so far, so that'll be great.
I gave you half the topic.
We're going to talk about Innistrad Remastered.
I did not give you that topic.
We're going to do a mixture of a discussion about Elon Musk buying Hasbro, while we also talk about the Beckett CEO being put into jail. That's going to be for $2 billion worth of fraud. We're going to talk about sorcery back to 1K, question mark. George,
what happened to sorcery?
George found a great article about the Asmodee debt that is increasing again. And I had a interesting week worth of Pokemon topics to discuss. And I wanted to bring up something on Pokemon. And then, I don't know, George says there's a MetaZoo topic.
There's a great MetaZoo. And Daniel has a Lorcana topic.
We'll talk about Lorcana. It's as dead as MetaZoo. And then I'm sure somebody has a secret sauce. So, fellas, how was your weeks?
It was great. Great week. MetaZoo's pumping. Lorcana's doing great.
What did you eat for Thanksgiving? What was the best food on your table?
Prime rib.
Ugh.
Who has prime rib? How do I get into this tax bracket?
There it is.
Open an LGS.
Somebody count the times Donald talks about being poor. One.
What did you have for Thanksgiving?
I had turkey and ham and mashed potatoes.
I don't like turkey. I think turkey's gross.
I don't like ham. I think ham's
what?
Yeah.
The real question here, George, you missed this. Louis has never had a deviled egg.
Oh, that's good for Louis.
You don't like them either?
No, I don't like deviled eggs.
Wow.
So I'm not a ham fan. I'm a huge fan of turkey, though. Like, I don't understand.
Really? There's a lot about
I don't understand why we only eat turkey once a year. It's such a. There used to be in Ohio. There was a place called Thanksgiving Dinner, TGD. I think it was the abbreviation. That doesn't make a ton of sense, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
It's Thanksgiving dinner.
And all they served all day, 24/7. Not 24/7, but all they served 7 days a week for 52 weeks a year was Thanksgiving dinner. It was like a buffet. I ate there a lot.
You should have my turkey. I make the best turkey.
Really?
How do you do your turkey?
I use the bag. First of
brine
all,
bag?
is the secret. No, like you cook it in a bag,
So
and
yeah,
and it like, and I use like stock and onions and garlic and anyway, the turkey is like so juicy. You would think it was like chicken instead of.
George, where's your microphone?
who knows? So the best Thanksgiving meal I ever had was turducken.
I've had a turducken. It was good. Yep.
It's also great because there's no bones. You just get a slice of meat.
Yeah. It was very good.
I want to do a fried turkey next year.
You are going to burn West
I
Virginia to the ground, and nobody will realize it for months.
My best food was I got a pie, a cherry pie, and I ate the whole thing. I think it's called Betty's Ugly Pies. It's this lady in Canton, Ohio that makes pies, and they are so delicious.
They ugly?
They are.
So it's like, they're like hand pies. It's not like a traditional. It's called an ugly. Like that's an actual thing.
Usually my stepdad gets me one for my birthday, but this year he got me one for Thanksgiving. And I had 2 pieces on Thanksgiving, like during the day. And then at 1 a.m. on Thanksgiving night, I snuck down and I ate the rest of the pie. And it was.
How big is the pie?
It's like a pie. It's like a 9-inch.
I love that you had to sneak down.
No, I mean, yeah.
No, I walked down tough.
It's my mom's house, you know? All right. Innistrad Remastered. We have some.
Getting a refill of coffee.
Some spoilers. There he goes. He lasted 6 minutes, everybody. 6 minutes. Innistrad Remastered. Donald, you'll love this. Flip cards. I know you're a big fan of flip cards in general, but they put out a article with their Innistrad Remastered that they may have had some issues with the flip cards.
What is may have? Like, we don't know if we did.
Everybody is believing that to mean that they put the wrong cards on the wrong faces.
That's awesome. Or upside down or something. I mean, that's pretty par for the course. I don't think there's any shock there.
A small number of play boosters have misprinted double-faced cards. It's crazy.
Those will be crazy expensive.
I think it'll make the play boosters more expensive.
Conspiracy theory time.
It's the only way.
It'll be great.
It's the only way they can get people to buy play boosters.
Right. They did it so that the play boosters will sell.
Oh, wait, what's wrong with the faces?
They said there's a limited number of play boosters had issues with the double-faced cards, and the internet is taking that as saying that they're going to be the wrong faces, like the back.
Why? What is your air quotes? It's like random times. like the wrong faces. What are what? What is the quote there?
Do you know what a double-faced card is?
I do.
What is it?
It has the front and the back.
Yeah. So that they put the wrong side on it.
Poker Face is that Lady Gaga song. Did you all get your Spotify Wrapped stuff? Are you a Spotifyer, Donald?
No, I'm Apple Music.
Does Apple Music do the Wrapped, like your year in review thing, or no?
I don't know.
I'm sure they copy that.
They might. I don't know. I have no idea. But
George, who is your number one artist?
So.
The GOAT. The GOAT.
It's a shocker.
Yeah. Top 1%. Top 1%.
You're not even a real fan.
What?
You're not even a real fan. I was in the top 0.
That's because you like bands that nobody's ever heard of.
I was in the top 0.05% for Blink-182.
Yeah, because you heard like bands that you like bands like 30 years ago. When I was a kid. When I was your age, they were popular.
I'm a real fan.
Yeah, so much so that when we were in Indianapolis, there was a Blink-182 concert going on right beside us, and Louis had no idea.
I was so disappointed in myself that day.
Well, if it helps any, that's how most of us feel most days.
Yeah, I now know what you guys feel when you watch my content. Disappointed.
Yeah. Did you go to the concert that night or no?
No, because I didn't know until after. Everybody
was coming out of the concert.
We walked out of the con, and everybody was coming out of the concert in Blink-182 shirts. I was like, why are there so many Blink-182 shirts? And they were like, oh, there was a concert. And then when we were walking by a bar, and there was a Blink-182 cover band, and that's when we drank too much.
All right.
They were not a Blink-182 cover band, but Anyway,
That's what I remember about it.
I am not a big bar goer.
Me either.
I went to a bar after the Taylor Swift concert though, and it was they changed the bar to be Taylor Swift themed, and it was freaking amazing. They played nothing but Taylor Swift songs. It was so good.
Okay.
There should be Taylor Swift bars.
Back to Innistrad Remastered. Another thing that you guys might find fun is that they could not come up with new showcase frames, so they are just reprinting the showcase frames from previous sets. So the Crimson Vow showcase frames are.
That's not smart.
To be fair,
you want nothing to do with that, Magic. Turn around.
To be fair, those frames were really cool. Like they were very cool. Like I have that werewolf commander deck that I blinged out in every one of those.
That cost you $20 or less.
Yeah, like $20 or less because they're werewolves and they suck. But they look sweet. So Louis always said when we played Commander, he's like, you might not win, but at least your decks have style.
How often do you play Commander with Louis?
We used to play when Donald played Magic, but now he doesn't play Magic.
The last time he invited me was the last time I played.
When was that, Donald?
Probably about 2 years ago.
That's a real friend.
He plays Lorcana now.
Goatkana.
You want to know how many times Louis played Lorcana with me?
How many?
Zero. You want to know how many times I've played Sorcery with Louis?
You want to know how many times Donald's brought this up on the podcast? You want to know how many times Donald's brought this up in the podcast?
How many?
At least 5.
That's good.
At least.
Yeah.
I have my phone.
They do have the movie poster and borderless cards.
Those are fun. I like those.
Yeah, the movie posters look cool. Donald, what are your thoughts on the movie poster cards?
I hate them. I hate them. Yeah, they look stupid.
I was talking to Sam, and Sam is our resident. To put it in perspective, Sam plays pre-modern. That's his format.
Hell is pre-modern.
Sam's more of a boomer than me.
Yeah, exactly. And Sam was going on a rant the other day, love it, about how when they changed the border from the original Magic border to the modern border, their reason was to leave it gave you that much more frame for the art, and that what they said was that it helped recognition of cards on the table for players. He's like, now they just throw all this on there, and they just you can't even tell the card is a Magic card anymore, and they got rid of our frames.
Magic is trying to do. Magic has this weird problem that they actually have players and collectors, and they're probably the only game that has both. I guess Goatkana does too. Like every other game has like either players or collectors, but not both.
Yeah, it is a tough line to balance for sure. I mean, some games,
the biggest game that has both of those things too.
What is?
Yeah,
they are by far the biggest player game, and on the
like the 20 players of Pokemon, I'm sure love the game, but who cares?
They're competing with Pokemon on collecting. They're losing, but
they're not. But that's right. Look at first edition Charizard prices. Look at Lotus prices. Come back and talk to me.
You really need to understand supply. For somebody who's so business savvy, to not understand what supply does to something is amazing. And market cap.
There's no market cap in TCGs. This is something. In individual cards of TCGs. This is something content creators do because they're lazy. This is a lazy way to view TCGs. Any other questions?
I bet you think XRP is going to be $100 each too.
Minimum. No, not XRP. Donald, are you a crypto guy?
No, Donald has no clue what we just talked about. Zero clue. Like probably most of the comment section. So we should move on.
No, you have to have money to be a crypto guy, and I already explained that I'm not in that tax bracket
yet.
Tomorrow's
a good day, Donald.
All right, I'll be waiting on that check in the mail, George.
Donald, they're also doubling down on your favorite part of Innistrad Remastered, which is pretending that Edgar Markov is in Innistrad. In fact, the first thing on the article is Innistrad Remastered starring Edgar Markov.
I mean, Edgar Markov, the character, yes, is from Innistrad. Was Edgar Markov the card printed in an Innistrad set? No.
Right.
So if Innistrad remastered means we're going to remaster cards that are on the plane of Innistrad, then sure, I guess that fits in. But yeah, what is so weird to me is, yes, I get that, like, that's the highest value card in Innistrad lore, but it's a commander. Like, it can play like not as a commander, but it's designed to be a commander. The Eminence ability is completely useless outside of commander. So it's so weird to me to like put it in a 1v1 set. I don't know. I mean, I know why they're doing it. It's the only card that has any value. But
They also are getting even more desperate. They are reprinting Mass Hysteria, which was a Mirrodin card, into it as well. So this, like, everything we said about the set is coming true. In fact, that like there's not enough reprints for this to be a full set. So they're digging into other things, which is wild. But it's gonna do good for the set. Like, it's going to be a net positive for the set.
Just tried to 1K. Are we there yet or no?
So I'm also like my reps are being very, very stingy with talking about allocation right now. Like,
Just tried to 1K. We're back, baby.
it's gonna be a pretty tight. I'm like a little bit worried. This is by far the most my Gold Wizard program has been growing. And I've now asking for
everybody count the number of times Louis plugs his random crap on this podcast too. That's 38.
I'm now asking for significantly more boxes, and it's going to be interesting to see how many I'm able to get.
You get more cryptic boxes for people or no?
I'm sure I can get cryptic boxes.
I have cryptic boxes. You want some?
Yeah.
Oh. I that was my Thanksgiving thing. The day after Thanksgiving, I donated, threw away, basically most of my cryptic stuff. I gave up. It was taking up a lot of room in my house.
You should have sent me your uncut sheets.
Hmm?
You should have sent me those uncut sheets.
I offered to send them to you for free. I said I would pay shipping. And you said, don't send me that bleep.
So Mass Hysteria at its peak a year ago was $10.
Yeah.
Like, it's
That's
a weird
1K.
That's
include.
They always think that that's going to add value. That's going to be a 30-cent card.
Yeah, I mean, it was only $10 because it's only been printed once. Right. I mean, I don't understand that.
They're getting desperate
on a value perspective.
They're
like,
desperate for reprints.
I'm all about reprints. Like, I'm not a collector in any sense, so I am all about the cards getting as cheap as possible to be able to play with. I've always been of that mind. But and they are doing a great job now of, I know, because you only care about how much money you can flip it for.
But, yeah, you seem to care quite a bit when I was buying your collection, by the way.
Yes, thank you for that.
You seem to care quite a bit.
That's a different story. But anyway.
Yeah,
everybody wants cheap cards until they go to sell their collection.
I mean, to be fair, my collection was worth twice as much 2 years ago.
That's fair.
Before they tanked the price of everything. So, and I mean, I'm not okay with that, I guess, in a sense. But I like, if I wasn't selling out of it, it would be different. Like, as a player, being able to get the cards is a big deal. And sure, if something's only ever been printed once, then find a place to put it in. I'm all for that. But a remastered set seems an odd place to throw a card that doesn't belong on that plane. But
well, this is where they're running into remaster. What they've started to do with master sets, like Modern Horizons, not a master set, but what they've started to do with those sets is be able to reprint. What's the set I'm trying to think? Foundations. They reprinted half the set, but then created new cards that add value in the other half of the set. And they can't do that with remastered sets. They will eventually, but they can't do it now. I think we'll start seeing like the Dominary remastered, whatever plane remastered.
What are the air quotes? What are you quoting? That's the real set.
I think they'll start reimagining new cards on those planes now too, because they're running out of reprint equity.
I don't think they are.
They're running out of reprint equity, but we'll see what happens. I do think that the collector boxes are going to be expensive. I think it's going to be a good
It's probably 1K, baby.
I mean, it has the word collector in it. It should be something that is collectible.
Yeah.
They haven't always been, but it should be.
And maybe play boxes if people really want those flip cards that are
those will be expensive.
Yeah.
Because what they're saying,
and if they fix it, if they announce that they fix it and it's just the first print run,
first wave,
that's going to be crazy.
Well, if what they're saying is it's only in a select few play booster boxes, then they're going to be pretty rare.
Yeah.
I mean, the cards are going to be worthless as far as playability, I'm sure, but because there's a whole misprint community out there that will eat those up. They love that stuff.
Crazy too. I opened a commander deck that had like a bunch of black stain on the back of each of the cards. And I got like $45 to $50 per card on average for a whole commander deck.
Misprint people are wild.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to say that is my favorite collector community of any TCG.
Because they play like misprint commander. So if you have a what's the one cost, Donald? It was a pop or staple that flips.
Delver of Secrets.
If you have a Delver of Secrets, and on the front it's Delver of Secrets, and on the back it's Emrakul the Promised End, can you imagine how powerful that is?
Delver would be such a huge, if it's one of the misprints, because that's a highly played card. It might not be an expensive card, but it's so highly played. That would be sweet.
Yeah,
like that would
be crazy.
My guess is it's probably not like that. It's probably not the wrong card on the other side. It's probably like it's upside down or something. No. I mean, maybe it is the wrong card. But the only way that happens though is if it was already a double-sided card. Like Emrakul wouldn't sneak on the other side because it wouldn't have been on the backside sheet anyway. So like as far as
Emrakul?
I don't think there's a flip Emrakul.
Oh, I just happened to have Emrakul on my page when I said that. I just assumed.
But none of the flip cards are really. I mean, maybe like Thane in the Ice is. I mean, it's highly played in Pioneer. Something like that, or Delver of Secrets, like we said, that would be cool. Some of the werewolves are niche played, but like. I can't really think of anything double-sided that would be.
The one that they put on their website is Archangel Avacyn.
That's a good one.
I mean, and that's played. That's played a little bit. That's the white and red one though. That one's not as good as it's like the other Avacyns, but yeah, right, George.
Yeah, it's good. It's not great though. I wouldn't say.
All right, so we'll keep talking about Innistrad Remastered as it comes up.
As long as we have boxes to sell, we'll talk about it. I promise you.
You can go buy boxes, but I honestly think that there's not going to be that many to buy. So, KitchenTableTCG at Gmail. No, what's my
there?
Name?
You go. There it is. What plug am I in the middle of? What plug am I in the middle of?
All right. Elon Musk saying that he's going to buy Hasbro.
I'm in. As a shareholder.
As a shareholder, you're in?
I'm in.
A shareholder of Magic or of Elon?
Hasbro. I hope he comically overpays for this like he did for Twitter.
What? I don't understand this at all. Like, does he even know that Magic exists?
He only said anything about D&D.
Right, that's all I saw. But
what happened is that the D&D 50th anniversary book came out, and the beginning of the book basically bad talks Gary Gygax for being sexist, for not including women in Dungeons and Dragons 50 years ago. Which there's been a bunch of stuff that's come out that's like, no.
Is this all true, Louis? This seems like one of your Twitter conspiracy theories. I'll be honest with you.
No, this is the topic that Elon Musk responded to. So
those are my two most credible sources, Louis and Elon. What could go wrong with this incredible assessment?
Elon replied to that. Nobody, and I mean nobody, gets to trash Gary Gygax and the geniuses who created Dungeons and Dragons.
He had to Google that.
What the F is wrong with Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast? May they burn in hell.
There's no way that he knew any of that information.
And somebody said you should buy Hasbro, and he replied, "How much is Hasbro?"
God,
I hate this world.
So, do you guys want to place odds bets on does
So here's the great with Elon. You never know.
Elon
Up
buy
the election, could buy anything he wants.
Hey George, look to your left. No, sorry, you're right. Who cut your hair?
I cut my own hair.
I can tell. You missed a whole spot. There's a whole like it's uneven in an entire area.
So
I thought he was talking about he missed this spot right here.
So I used to go get my hair cut, and I remember this very clearly. I sat down in the chair. I was in that chair for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There's no hair.
You don't have any hair. Yeah.
And they were like, that'll be $28. Then I had a tip.
Yeah, that's crazy.
$40 haircut for 5 minutes.
You didn't have to tip $12, but yeah.
Some of us are generous. Some of us are Louis.
They were already charging you $28 for a haircut, which is ridiculous.
They're not getting that. The bloodsuckers who run the business are. Like you.
I don't think that's how haircutting works. I don't think you understand the haircutting industry.
Huh?
Most of the time they rent the chairs.
I don't think that's true. The places I'm going for $28 for a haircut.
It's probably not true in his tax bracket. In ours, it is.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, I'm back in your tax bracket.
Oh, no, you're definitely not in mine. Mine, not yours.
I like that I just keep going up and down on the tax.
Yeah.
So, like,
you and George are in the same tax bracket. I'm 2 below that.
He's not my tax bracket, and I just bought. So I went to Walmart and bought a $20 vroom, and I just do that now.
A vroom.
I used to do that.
Have you? They make those like you hold it in your hand and it like contours to your, and you just move. It's just razors and you can move it back and forth.
Here's the problem: I'm trying to impress nobody.
Same.
Yeah, so
it's going well for me. How about you?
Yeah, so like it's just like I'm just gonna I do what I do. I do what I do. I will say I have to like have a friend sometimes help around the ear. Around the ear is a pain in the butt.
Okay, so what are the odds that Elon Musk buys Hasbro, and do you want him to do it?
As a shareholder, I do. As a person who follows this industry, I do not.
If he just wants to buy. If he just wants D&D, that's fine. I'm okay with it.
Buys Hasbro.
Say that again. Donald was talking over you.
The only thing that could be worse for this podcast than what normal content is if Elon Musk buys Hasbro. Louis waking up every day going, "Oh my God, look what he did! Look what he did!" is not how I want to wake up every morning.
I think it would be pretty bad for paper Magic. I could see a world where Elon Musk buys and is like cuts out everything, and then you don't have like the ability to create sets. Maybe we'll go down to one set a year. It'd be great.
You're just hoping for Magic NFTs.
No, only if it's part of the arena, the new Commander game. It doesn't have to be NFTs in the way that you think of NFTs. You did. It's okay. Yeah, there's a couple spots back there.
Oh, it's not perfect.
The whole back chunk of your head you missed. It's all right. Just put your head up. It'll be great. I don't think there's any shot that Elon actually buys Hasbro.
There is.
The Emperor Palpatine it's good.
I mean, he's wild. You have he doesn't know what he's gonna do when he wakes up. How the hell can you?
When you have that much money, it's like
he's an oligarch.
As a joke, he'll be like, "Oh, look what I bought." Like it's nothing to him. So
unlimited money.
I think that's the type of like black swan event within Magic the Gathering that could have significant changes to things. You think that's
what a bold and brave take by Louis. As the richest person on the face of the planet by a mile, probably.
As a content creator, I'm all for that too, because it would be nothing but like content every day. Like there'd be like it would change everything so fast. Like what does he do with the reserve list? Do you think he's just like screw that? That's stupid.
One of two things would happen. There'd be no reserve list or everything's on the reserve list.
Yeah, I think it's more that direction. Like he doesn't seem the kind of person to me to be like everybody can have every card.
No, but he does seem like the type of person who's like, wait, our most expensive cards we can't reprint? That doesn't make any sense from a business.
Yeah, because if you reprint them, they're not going to be worth anything.
Yeah.
You can't tell me if you put Black Lotus in a standard set that it's not going to be a $2 card.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I mean, I'm a firm believer that those like alpha beta cards, maybe unlimited and revised. I mean, there's obviously no revised Lotus, but on the dual lands, they see a decrease in value if you reprint stuff.
Did you guys read the Isaacson book on Musk?
No.
There's a shock. You can't read. I will. So my favorite business book of all time is Jobs by Isaacson.
Yeah.
Musk is probably my second favorite book. Like, if you love him or hate him, I don't care. Not that ain't George's business. I think everybody should go read the book by Isaacson. I think it is incredibly well done, incredibly informative.
Both of those guys are insane.
Huh?
Both of those guys were insane. Like, they were just so obsessed with their vision.
So, I mean, what I think the book does a good job of explaining is that
George got a notification, everybody. Don't worry. He has them on his computer and he will not turn them down.
I will not. I mean, what I think the book does a really good job of explaining is how they view the world so differently and what shaped that worldview. I won't spoil it because it's funny. I learned a ton about Elon Musk in that book. I actually
maybe I'll download the audiobook.
It makes sense. I found I respected him a lot more after that book. The narrative of him being this rich kid, it was just it's not true.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to love him or hate him. I don't care. But I think it's a very good book that explains a lot of where he went in the last few years. I was very impressed with the book.
It's interesting to see somebody like that get involved with a hobby, not an industry, right? Something that's a much smaller thing than what he's typically doing. It would be super interesting to see what that would do.
I'm still not convinced he even knows what it is.
Why do you say that? He doesn't strike you as somebody who would play Dungeons and Dragons?
No.
That surprises me. I
think he plays D&D. I think that's true.
Yeah. I think he probably played a lot of D&D. Maybe not Magic. He didn't say anything about Magic. That's where this is super. All of the D&D YouTubers went pretty hard on this one, which is pretty interesting. But all right, then the second thing I wanted to talk about is Beckett's. George, did you see this?
Yeah.
Beckett's CEO, $2 billion in insurance fraud.
I mean, who would have thought grading's a scam? How are your graded Pokemon cards doing, Louis? Have they come back in yet?
Mostly PSA. No, those have not. I just sent those in last week.
They can't lose money. Can't lose money. The Louis DeGeorge story. Here's my Cryptic cards.
I won't lose money on that. Cryptic, I lost money on. I lost a lot of money on Cryptic.
Here's my Legions cards.
What do you think this does for Beckett? I know for me, I don't want to grade with Beckett anymore.
I mean, but
you didn't grade Beckett before. This does nothing. Yeah. Beckett is people don't grade at Beckett because they're hard.
No. But Beckett to me is more of a sports grading than our world. I don't see many Becketts. I mean, there are a few, but
Magic has more Beckett than Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon is
because their cards have value.
Pokemon is
PSA is great if you have cheap cards.
I have all my sorcery cards are in Beckett, and
that surprises me.
Why? Oh, because they don't have value.
There you go.
There you go. That's good.
Takes you a minute, but you get there sometimes, Louis. It's what I'm most proud of.
This is the type of thing you could see. Couldn't you see somebody buy Beckett as a result of this type of thing?
I think they were just sold not that long ago, weren't they?
I don't know. I have no clue. But I mean, this type of news, I think, could go down the rabbit trail of does PSA acquire Beckett?
Maybe. I mean, Beckett has the weird problem that people want 10s, and Beckett is very hard to get a 10 for.
Yeah.
Like
that makes it. I mean, to me, it makes it when you get a 10, it's like it's actually worth. Oh,
Well,
I have a 10. You know,
that's why people like will take a PSA 10 and try to cross it to a Beckett Black Label.
and it's very rarely work.
Right.
Very rarely work.
Right.
and then you send it back to PSA and get a 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Like I don't know. Like I prefer Beckett. Like I think I like the harder grading because I know what I'm buying.
Yeah.
Like I don't like the PSA 10 as much. I get why people do it. Like I understand.
PSA's gotten a lot. PSA's gotten a lot more difficult with vintage, which is annoying because like I feel like they grade vintage way more difficultly than they grade modern. And I wish I just graded things on the same across the board.
I'm glad you're like grading isn't consistent. You guys should grade your cards. Like I mean, like I think grading for TCGs is wild. Unless it's like a purely vintage, very rare collectible. I think grading cards is weird.
You are certainly in the minority and in the wrong from a
I'm
more
certainly in the minority. I'm not sure I'm in the wrong. Like I remember everybody during a certain disease grading everything that was.
You can say COVID now.
That wasn't buttoned down to their house. They were great. I got this Wheaties box. Let's grade this Wheaties box. It's from the 90s. Let's grade these games. And you know,
Yeah, somebody brought graded Nintendo 64 games into the shop one day. I was like, they grade Nintendo games? Like that's wild to me.
Like Wada does. I mean, like, and I think I get it. I guess like I think grading is a total bubble. I would not touch modern graded cards.
Really?
100%.
I mean, I'm kind of in that same camp but it's more like I just don't even care about the grade because I'm not a collector, I guess. Yeah. Like I can't play it when it's graded, so I don't want it graded. The only card I have graded is my my Stitch promo that I won at the first Lorcana championship, and the only reason I graded it was just because I wanted it like preserved inside. You know, like I didn't even care what grade it came back as. I just wanted it to be encased in something.
Which I think is a large chunk of the grading community does that. It's almost everybody who comes into the shop and buys a graded card or gets a card graded. Like we send cards out to get graded.
Most of the grade do the same scam that you're trying to pull off in Pokemon, which is buying 70 copies of cards to artificially inflate the price. Send it in and pray for 10s.
Was not artificially inflating the price.
It was. You bought 70 copies.
Yeah, but 25 copies sell a day.
None of.
So I
artificially inflating it.
I increased the. Nobody plays with the cards.
Nobody plays Pokemon. It's GOAT.
God.
Like that's the average grader. They buy 70 copies of a card and pray that they can.
Not the average grader. It is not.
It is.
It is not. But people who want to put the cards up on a shelf or display them.
That's why you bought 70 copies. You want to have
me. I'm not talking about me.
You want to have a beautiful.
That's a first.
The average
70 of the same graded card.
Who invited these two onto this podcast? Whose idea was it to put the two people who hate me the most onto the same podcast?
We are not the people who hate you.
I need
a long list.
I
know who does if it helps any.
I need Josh's love to balance out the hate.
No, his white knighting. Ugh.
All right. Anyway, Beckett, I'm calling it. They're going to get purchased by somebody else. They are now the fourth highest company per month to grade.
I mean,
out of 4.
So PSA, CGC, and SGC, and then Beckett.
Does somebody own SGC now?
PSA owns SGC, I think. But SGC is grading 100,000 more cards a month than Beckett.
But I mean, I don't think that's this problem. It's a problem of like people want 10s.
I think it's a service problem. Their service sucks, dude. Grading a card with Beckett is a terrible experience. Awful experience. Like the process is bad. It's all on paper. Like PSA, it's all digital. They have the app now. It's so easy to send a card in.
I can do it so many times.
9 out of 10 people who grade with Beckett are 1, not going to know about this news, or 2, care about this news.
That's true.
Like it's not going to.
taking the internet knows more than the average person approach. I like that. It's a good one. That's true. I do think that high-end buyers don't know. Like,
you're taking the approach that the internet knows more than a person. Yes, Louis. That is a bold approach by Donald.
Taking the the high-end buyers know, though. You don't think this has an effect on like high-end?
It doesn't sound like this matters to them, right? I mean,
why does it matter? I mean, the card's already been graded, and like, why does it matter now? It doesn't change the fact of what it got.
It's like, what if the company goes under?
Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that it was hard to get a 10.
What is this FUD? What is this FUD from Louis? I know you got your 70 PSA copies coming back. I understand you got to pump them. Beckett is not going under.
Even if it did, it doesn't change the fact that it was graded as a Beckett 10 under those guidelines. Like, that doesn't change that.
God, there's no limit you won't go to pump your bags. It's my favorite part about you, Louis.
My bags have nothing to do with this.
Beckett might go under. You can only be buying modern PSA.
Let's keep it moving. We got to keep it to an hour. We got 20 minutes left. All right, sorcery to 1K.
What happened? I thought they were at 1K.
There's been some frustration in the market.
Why?
That sorcery boxes are below 1K. They are now $900 on eBay, according to somebody.
Is this an alpha box?
Yeah, for an alpha box. What does it take to get sorcery to go up to 1K again? And what does it take to get sorcery to go down?
I will say I don't think it's a good sign that during the bull market they're going down. That's not a great sign.
Well, it shouldn't have been at that to begin with. So
preach. Like, I will say, if I were them, that would actually concern me more. That, like, in the middle of a bull market, they are going down. Like, Magic's way up. Even somehow Pokemon managed to find their twice-a-year pump at the right time. Obviously, Lorcana is doing great. Metazu's pumping, obviously, because it's great.
God, shut up with the Metazu.
And, like, sorcery's going down. I mean, like, the market's correcting. I agree with Donald. It went too high too fast.
I'm fact checking your Lorcana.
I have no idea if that's true.
That's not true.
What are you fact checking?
Lorcana boxes are down $10 in the last month for first chapter.
For what set?
First chapter.
I don't believe you. I'm fact checking your fact checking.
I'm pulled it up on
Donald, do you have a robot vacuum?
I do not. That's out of my tax bracket. I've looked at them several times on like Black Friday and almost bought one, but
317, 318 in November to 308 today. On TCG Player.
Yeah, they keep
somebody who has no sales at all.
No, I'm showing you that. I'm just looking at the market history.
For somebody who has zero sales and no ratings.
Well, there were
there
were 42 items sold November 30th on the Black Friday
sale. Who has no sales.
Also, you have to keep in mind they're still putting first chapter boxes out into the wild.
I am simply stating the thing that George said. Lorcana is pumping, and it's.
I can't help what George said. I can only defend it with facts. I did not say that.
Lorcana is not pumping. The Elsa's also down from a year ago. In September, it was $1,000, and now it's $700.
They reprinted.
You said Lorcana is pumping. That was your phrase. You said Lorcana is pumping, and you compared that to sorcery, which is what we're talking about.
It's going unbelievable.
It's not.
It's going unbelievable.
This podcast can't just be everybody pumping their bags. We have to talk about it.
It's got to be your bags. I know. Beckett could go under.
I have Beckett bags. I have one of the 3 sorcery Beckett 10 alpha cards. I have a Beckett 10 Onyx Core foil. So I think that people are overreacting to sorcery.
Of course
boxes.
they are.
They're still $900, which is really expensive.
$400 too expensive.
I think that sorcery has done an incredible job at being stable in that $1,000 price range.
The only reason they're that much is because there aren't that many of them out there. Like, I mean, I don't understand. I guess I just don't understand the collector side of things. Like, you're still opening alpha boxes all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there are less and less of them on the market, but what's the point in like having an opening an alpha box? I don't get it.
I think we're doing a full alpha case opening this weekend.
There we go. Yeah, now we get the topic. Now we get it.
Stop it.
Now we understand the topic.
So since they're coming down, are you?
Yeah, the prices will be lower. Yeah.
That would have been the time for the air quotes, Louis. That would have been the time for the air quotes.
I always scale my prices with the price.
I always meet the market.
Oh my God, you are the worst. I think that this has a lot to do with the reprint thing too. They just had a bunch of negativity with some big people in the market. And,
wait, what happened?
Oh, you weren't here. They announced their reprinting beta, and everybody got upset about that.
Yeah, we talked about this.
They reprinted Arthurian Legends. Everybody got upset with that. I think this is just people coming to the market to lower their.
I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand being upset about cards getting in people's hands. You want to grow your game. How do you do that? You get the cards in people's hands.
I go to the sorcery. It matters to sorcery pump and dumpers. I'm not going to name names.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. But one of those sorcery pump and dumpers, I don't know what I just said. But anyway, one of those guys says that it's a player's game. So.
Oh, he's just lying. That's easy.
Yeah. So I'm confused.
Are you saying that I am the pump and dumper?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I have more sorcery bags than most of the sorcery.
You've also sold more sorcery bags than anybody else in the world. Like, there's a pump and dump. It's why you sell fake cards. It's why you sell proxies.
Oh my God.
You sell proxies?
Yeah.
I did not sell proxies.
I know he gives them away, but I don't think he sells them.
Yeah.
He gives them away if you buy a full price box.
Yeah, I mean,
true, Donald. I
gave them away if you pre-ordered a box.
Yeah, if you buy a box, at full MSRP, I'll give you something for free.
I'm sorry. I'm with Louis on this one, George. I know that's dangerous precedent, but I'm sorry.
If you traded in your cards and got your boxes for trade, you still got one. Anybody who pre-ordered a box. I think that this is actually good. I think that sorcery boxes need price discovery, and when more come onto the market, you start seeing like people who said, "Oh, I missed out. Boxes were $1,200. I missed out." And then when they get down to $750, new people acquire boxes, and those are the people who actually want the boxes and they want to put them on a shelf and they want to actually collect them, rather than somebody who's just investing for, has 4 cases, that kind of thing. And so I think it's a net positive at the end of the day.
Investing in a TCG is such a wild thing, though.
And I agree with you, but when is your case box opening, Lou?
So like I bought a case. I bought 2 cases last week. Somebody reached out to me to buy cases, and I open product. That's what I do. So what is that? What's wrong about that?
Nothing. I
don't understand why you're
right. I support it.
Sharing that. But I think we'll see a slow trickle down in price from here on sorcery. It'll be interesting to see how many boxes come, because I think what happens is people who back the Kickstarter and they back the case and they've had these boxes for a while, as soon as they start seeing the price go down, they come to market to sell, because they're like, oh, it's not going to ever go back up.
If sorcery is lucky, I don't know if they will be or won't be, that will be what happens. What we have seen in other games is the price free falls from here. Yeah,
we have seen that.
And like, I will say, I will defend I will defend Louis' favorite game here for a second. The only game he actually cares about.
That's fair.
Other than Cryptic and Legions. The flavor of the month for Louis. Like, it does not matter to the game one iota if these boxes are $200 or $2,000. Sorcery has to focus on one thing: getting players.
Yep.
And the price of alpha does not affect players one bit. Not one bit. And so, like, sorcery, if I were them, I would not pay attention to the price of this nonsense 1 second. At the end of the day, they have to do one thing, and that's recruit players.
I don't think that a company should be focused on the secondary market anyway. Like, that should never be
a collector's game. You have to be.
Yeah, but
if Pokemon cards are free, Pokemon is dead.
I disagree with both of you.
Well, that's good. We said the exact opposite thing, so I'd love to do this.
I think Sorcery needs to care about the players, and they need to care about the collectors. And I do think they need to be aware of the collector market.
They have tons of collectors.
But they don't. If they had tons of collectors, and if they were growing collectors, the prices of alpha boxes would not be going down. They are losing
collectors.
Huh?
It was the initial bubble. The bubble has burst. Now we're going to go figure out the real price of a box.
So I don't agree that it was initial bubble. I think like the initial bubble was like the $1,400 price point. Like we saw that burst. We've been at $1,000 box for like a year and a half. Like the boxes have been super stable.
If I cared more, I'd fact check that because I don't believe that.
Like I've been buying boxes for a year and a half and opening them on my channel. So I've been doing that. So like I think like what Sorcery needs for collector standpoint is for more people to come into the game to collect. It also needs more people to come into the game to play. But I think like the Sorcery collector numbers are going down.
Of course.
But I don't know.
It's weird because collector, for those air quotes, you know, like pump and dumpers look like collectors in the beginning, but they're not collectors. They're just there to make a quick profit. So then once the dust settles, then you get your actual collectors. The same thing happened in Lorcana. It happens in any TCG for sure. But in 100% in MetaZoo. But
you were in MetaZoo.
Like you have to. I mean, like everybody started freaking out when after all the pump and dumpers left Lorcana, you know, because the only reason they were there is because you couldn't get the product, and it was an easy cash grab. Now that the product's readily available, then you see where your collectors are and where your players are, and it's a healthy balance. And
and you start seeing how many boxes do you have to print, and this is where other games have failed to pivot and make moves, because once the collectors, well, you don't leave. I'm about to tell you something to you. Once the collectors go down in numbers, if they continue to print the same number of boxes, then you have what's happening in Star Wars, where you have players being like, why are stores selling boxes below cost, and complaining about the cheapness of boxes because they know the game is dying. And this is where I think when you look at Pokemon, when in the early years of Pokemon, they had these huge numbers and then a huge free fall of people who completely lost interest. And they printed significantly less boxes in those years. And that's why the value of those boxes is even more than like a base set box and that kind of thing, because the quantity is printed so much.
But the value, the asset of being one set a year, they should be able to get this right. Like they underprinted Beta, they overprinted Arthurian Legends. You have a year to figure that out.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, the other TCGs that are pumping out a set every 3 months, you can't adjust. Like the next set is not going to be able. It's already in print. You can't adjust those numbers. But one set a year, you should be able to get those numbers right for the next time, and they have to pay attention to that. They have to look at that and pay attention.
Why, George? Why is that
because at the end of the day, it's much harder, I think, to do one set a year because the number of players and collectors can change drastically in 12 months versus 3 months. You probably have a lower.
Yeah.
The people that are playing this game are going to be there in 12 months. Like
all 20 people will still be here in a year.
I don't think there's enough catalysts for that kind of like flow that you're talking about, George.
There's gone from 1,400 to 900 in a year. Clearly, there's some catalyst.
That's not what they did. If you would listen, then you would know what things are going on. They were at 1,400 for the bubble, and then for the last year and a half, they've been between now 900 and like.
When did they release? Have they been out for a year and a half?
Alpha, yes.
I'm pretty skeptical that the boxes have been 1,000 for a year and a half.
Gosh. I will look up when my first box opening was. Alpha box opening.
No. I'm skeptical the boxes have been 1,000 for a year and a half.
Huh?
I'm skeptical that boxes have been $1,000 for a year and a half.
They have been.
Okay, now I believe you.
July 10th, 2023. How long ago was that? A year and a half ago? I was opening a $750 loose box. That was literally the week that Alpha came out.
They were not $1,400 then.
They weren't. That was before the bubble. That was a year and a half. That was me saying that boxes have been out for a year and a half.
When were they
Stop
$1,400?
moving the goalpost on the podcast.
Boxes have been $1,000 for a year and a half.
Yes.
You said boxes have been $1,000 for a year and a half. A year and a half ago, they were $750.
Oh my God. I'm so
That's the way math works.
So done with this.
A year and a half ago, boxes were $750, not $1,000.
Yeah. Sure.
So
now they're
somewhere in there,
$900.
it went from $750 to $1,400.
Yep.
So boxes have not been $1,000 for a year and a half.
All right. Goodbye. I'm done.
What was that?
Done. Sorcery to 1K, baby. Sorcery to 1K. All right. Let's move on. Next topic is Asmodee debt. This is you, George.
So I know I heard Star Wars over there, Josh's favorite game. I want to give a shout out to Josh's favorite game, Rest in Power, Josh.
That man is freaking out.
Yeah, just keep going.
Don't worry, I do. And so, Donald, did you hear about this Asmodee news?
No, I don't pay attention to dead games.
That makes sense. So they took on a ton of debt, and they're now going on a buying spree, buying a bunch of companies to try to promote their basically board games. And so they're buying a bunch of startups, or buying a bunch of smaller companies, trying to figure out how do you increase the engine for their board games, and I think somewhat their TCGs, but I think that the writing might be on the wall for their TCGs.
Yeah, they should just give up on TCGs. I mean,
look, I will say, I find that odd. I don't understand why Asmodee can't make a TCG that works, but
dude, Altered is in the gutter.
Of course,
Altered. They did this whole thing with Altered where you were supposed to be able to trade your cards online and stuff, and then they released the game, and you can't do any of that. They haven't released the software. I said something.
I remember when you were pumping Altered though.
I was never pumping Altered. Never, ever, ever pumping Altered.
I saw it, George.
Everybody did.
I literally said on the podcast, I literally said, I am backing this. You should not back it. I backed it. I sold all my boxes the week I got them.
Boxes have been $1,000 for a year and a half.
Boxes never worked.
Boxes definitely work for Altered.
Altered to $100.
Altered was dead before it arrived, but
I find it so strange that Asmodee can't figure out how to make a TCG work. I find it so weird.
I have a theory on this with the Star Wars thing.
All right.
I don't think you can be the developer and the distributor and the retailer. They're trying to do all three things, and I think you just end up cutting off your feet. They are the developer, and then they're doing distro, and then they're also going direct to consumer. When Set 2 came out, all the stores wanted a ton of boxes. Shout out to RNG Games. He did a video. He was like, I ordered 800 boxes. I got 800 boxes of Set 1. I might be making up the number. I don't remember exactly how many. Okay. He's like, I ordered 800 boxes of Set 2, and they cut me to 30 boxes. And then they went on Amazon, and they sold direct to consumer on Amazon before they ever restocked stores. So they cut the stores way back in allocation, and then they went direct to consumer on sales. And all the store, I know myself, I was the same way. I was like, why am I going to support this game if I'm not going to be able to get boxes? It was ridiculous. So I think they're trying to do too many things. They have too many pots.
We'll see if these new purchases help them or not. The thing I liked about it is they're trying to show some innovation. They're trying to buy some smaller companies. They're trying to figure out how do you make this thing go.
I missed what the companies were. Who are
they're buying a bunch of small startups, a bunch of smaller companies.
Gotcha.
They're and I think that's smart. I think they need they rose enough money where they can buy small to medium-sized companies. I think that this will lead to a lot of people buying a lot of startups and small companies in the TCG space. Like, I think that M&A season might begin anew in TCGs.
That's cool.
We'll see if it happens. I mean, like, I will say that's a lot of money.
The industry is growing. Like, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
It's weird that that's their perspective rather than trying to get connected with Magic and Pokemon. I always kind of wondered, like, why doesn't Asmodee, they do a ton of distribution to a ton of stores with board games and all this stuff. Why don't they ever add Pokemon and Magic? I've always kind of wondered that.
They need to find a way to make a TCG that works.
Yeah. Well,
like
they're trying.
That's where the money.
They're certainly trying with this year. I mean, Altered and Star Wars is, they put way more energy into that than anything.
They got to figure that out. Like, that is, like, to me, like, because, like, that's where the money is.
So Star Wars could be a great game. They just did it not very well.
Shocking. Who would have guessed on this podcast?
Yeah.
I mean, you lost a percentage of the player base from the get-go just because of the art.
Yeah.
And
the art got worse.
The art's yeah, and it got worse somehow. The art's terrible.
It got worse. Like, I didn't love it set one. I didn't hate it set one though. But it got significantly worse.
So you already lost a percentage there. The game might be good, but you've got to get people in the door first. You got to find a way to get people in the door. The Star Wars IP is a strong enough IP to get people in the door for sure. But when they can't get it because there was no product to get, then they're going to move on to the next thing and just not care. Like, by that point, by set 2 and 3, it's too late. You've already missed out.
Yeah. Our Star Wars has like completely died. We had pretty regular, like 10 players, 10 to 12 players. It's like completely died. Set 2 completely killed it.
Who would have guessed?
Yeah.
On this podcast.
It's interesting.
It is. Not really. For what it's worth, I think this is good news for Asmodee. I think this shows that they know that they need some help to get over the hump that they're in, and I think this is a decent way to do that. It's either this or go raise an absolute metric ton of money and go try to buy a big game. I don't think that's...
What game would they even buy?
I mean, like, listen, like, Hasbro's a public company. You can do a leverage buy. You can try to do an LBO. You can try to do a house takeover. Like, there's things you can do.
That would be insane. I'm all for that. Asmodee versus Elon Musk. Can you imagine how perfect this podcast is with these connections?
I mean, like, there's things you can do. I don't know. I mean, like who's the third biggest game? Like,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Like, probably like One Piece. One Piece would be an interesting purchase.
Isn't that a license to Bandai?
Yeah, but like they could buy the company that makes it, right? I mean, like, there's things you could do. I think this makes a lot more sense. If I were them, I'd try to find holes in the TCG space versus just leaning on IP this time.
Yeah.
I think they tried it with Altered, and then they messed up.
Altered is so interesting. I don't know. They tried to do so much with Altered.
Yeah, they tried to do too much with Altered is the problem. Yeah.
I don't think you can, like, innovating in the TCG space is really difficult. Like, because we're so...
I don't agree with that.
No?
I mean, like, One Piece is really innovative. Like, Sorcery's
One Piece. What is innovative? Tell me what is innovative about One Piece.
It's a much quicker game. They took the game and they made it much quicker. They went to
it's not innovative. You still play you play a land card. It's just called a Dawn card, and it doesn't have a color. You tap your colors and you play your cards.
They changed the way that the game is played to make it a much quicker game. That's innovation. Like, to Sorcery's credit, Sorcery is very innovative.
Sorcery's has some innovation to it. It's still not.
I love how I had to trap you with that, because I know you'll never say anything bad about it.
Sorcery is not. I would not say that Sorcery is innovative and has changed card games. I don't think you can do that. People are set in stone with how they play card games. You can't do that much different with a card game.
But it's also a good thing. Like when you're teaching a new card game to somebody, you want to say, hey, do you play Magic? Because this works just like Magic. And then it's so much easier to get somebody in without having to start from scratch. I mean, every game copies Magic. You have to in some way, but they also take things from it and improve upon what, where Magic has downfalls. And that's where the innovation needs to be, improving upon the things that Magic doesn't do so well. Usually that involves the resource system, but
it's not even innovation. Like, I think the biggest innovation in trading card games in the last 10 years is Marvel Snap. Like, they found a way to make an innovative way to play one-on-one card games and completely different. But in order to do that, they had to lose the physical. You can't do that with a physical.
I don't consider that a card game by any means. It's not a trade. You can't trade with anybody. It's not like I don't consider that. I mean, I played a lot of Marvel Snap. I love the game.
Played a game, so it makes it a little bit harder.
I know he hasn't.
Oh, look at that face! Look at that face! I called it right now.
I don't know about it.
I've been playing it. I've been playing Marvel Snap for a year. When Louis said, "What's this new thing called Marvel Snap that everybody's talking about?" So,
definitely,
my favorite YouTuber right here.
But like, my point is that they changed the way that things are done, and they had to go completely out of physical card games in order to do it.
It was an innovative approach. It really was. It just failed. Like
Marvel Snap?
No. I'm talking about Altered. Sorry. Altered was very innovative in their approach to what they were going to do. They just failed at it.
I think the problem that TCGs have is, in order to truly be innovative, you would have to overthrow Magic, and it's just never going to happen. Like, you can't do it. It's not possible. And so
I've got 7 minutes, by the way.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We'll skip the Pokemon because neither of you want to talk about it. We'll skip the MetaZoo because the comment section doesn't want to talk about it.
Free stuff at metazoo.com or metazoo something or another. Go get your free stuff. Go sign up. Go get your free. Go sign up for your chance to win a free sign.
There you go. All right, Lorcana.
Yeah, MetaZoo is GOAT.
Josh, or
wow.
The question is, which one of you was I talking about? We'll never know.
I know exactly who you were talking
about.
Everybody in the comment section.
Wow.
Yeah, so does Donald, apparently.
Wow. I'm hurt. Like, I'm genuinely hurt.
That's so
Happy
good.
birthday, buddy. We didn't even celebrate your birthday either.
I know you didn't celebrate my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that. I have 5 minutes.
Happy birthday to
you.
I have to go back to work.
Happy birthday to Josh.
Can you do that too? I think you did.
You're both dead to me.
Donald, you're my best friend. Relax.
All right. Lorcana, promo card for Moana 2 release.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago we talked about the promo card for going to see Moana 2 and how big of a win that was, but it was only if you were in Europe. Then it extended to China. Now it's starting today in theaters in US. If you go see Moana 2, you can get the promo card only in Cinemark. It has to be a Cinemark theater.
I'm rather impressed that Donald said starting today when it's starting tomorrow, but today
it is starting. It's starting as of the release of this podcast because I'm talking about it in the future.
That's a pro move. You are not Josh.
That was impressive. He didn't even think about it. He rolled that. He's a pro at this.
God, look at that face. You have hurt his feelings. Look at that face. You have crushed this man.
Donald, instead of going out to axe throwing and a escape room tomorrow for your birthday, do you want to go see Moana 2 and get promos?
You guys not seen Moana 2 yet?
No.
I have to see Moana 1 first, but I can probably do that tonight.
I heard Moana 2 is basically it was supposed to be a TV show and they just made it a movie.
That wasn't you didn't hear that. That's been confirmed.
Yeah.
I also heard it was the #1 movie of the week. I also heard it's
the number one movie of the week. No way.
It definitely has that space. Sorry.
Broke the record for the top 5 days of any movie ever released. What were you saying?
The top 5 days this week? That's crazy, buddy. Congrats.
#1 movie of all time for a 5-day opening.
I haven't seen Moana 1.
Me either. So.
What is wrong with you guys?
I'm 32.
Moana's great.
I'm
You
41.
sound more macho because you don't like Disney movies. It's not a macho thing.
He has a very strong this is one thing that he holds on to so much is his adversity against Disney. He
I know this.
it's weird. It's like it's a very I don't know if it's a insecure thing or what it is that he can't admit that he doesn't like Disney, but he is very strongly adverse to it. It's funny because we told him you need to watch Big Hero 6. It's great.
Was so good. It was.
And
so
he
good.
watched it, and it was. But until we watched it, he's like, "Oh, blah, blah, blah."
I cried. That movie is so good.
But you've seen like all the Toy Stories, right?
I love Toy Story. I cry every time I watch it. I can't watch it. Toy Story hits me on a level.
But you don't watch. But you won't watch Moana.
I think that those are very different. Toy Story came out.
You haven't seen it. You have no idea.
Toy Story came out when I was a child. There's this thing called nostalgia. It's just like I don't know. My kid. I should probably watch Moana with my daughters. That's probably your best argument. Is like
I watch it with your daughters too, and then we can take them. Then we can take them to see Moana 2. My two dads.
God, it got worse. The more you talk, the worse it got. How much time you got left on them?
Well, I was supposed to be back 12 minutes ago, but yeah.
Donald's at work, everybody.
Yeah, I'm on lunch.
You're gonna eat lunch today, then?
Yeah, I got a donut stick thing here.
I'm glad that they made it so everybody can get their promo cards. Is this promo card going to be as good as the Dragonite promo from Pokemon, the first movie?
I mean, no, not really. It's like the card is just a vanilla card. It's nothing exciting. But it's just the like I don't think it has anything to do with the value of the card. It's more about the
far away.
It's about getting it in people's hands that have no idea what it is. Yeah, and then they go home and they're like, "Oh, I want more of these cards."
Yeah, I'm right.
I mean, there was a guy last Saturday at the shop. He brought his little girl in to buy Pokemon cards. And I was like, here is a free starter deck of Lorcana cards. And she's like, oh, I like this. I like this. I like this. Daddy, buy me more Lorcana cards. You're welcome, Louie. But you know, like that's the same audience that, you know, is going to see Moana 2 are one of the audiences you want to target with getting these cards in their hand. It's a great gateway TCG, and there'll be Magic players in 10 years. You know, but it's just a win to get those cards to people.
I said this since day one of fudding Lorcana.
Yep.
That in order for Lorcana to succeed, Disney would have to get involved with the movies and with Disney Plus, and they are doing
so far. It has succeeded without those things. Now it's going to go even bigger now that they are doing those things.
Them doing those things is a huge play.
They have done that. I mean, they've been really good about getting it in the park. Like you can buy it in every park. You can buy sealed product. And then the whole, even though you guys made fun of it, the whole like getting the characters to sign cards thing, not you, Josh and Louie, but that is huge.
I made fun of it. Like, I think I brought it up and I said it was a cool thing.
You made fun of it.
I don't think that's true.
Boxes have been $1,000 for a year and a half.
I'd like to see the proof of that I made fun of it. I think that's a cool thing.
Yeah, I know Josh for sure made fun of it.
That makes sense to me.
But I'm just going to assume you did too. But anyway, like they have done a good job of getting that accessibility and the availability into other avenues of Disney's, because Disney is a huge company, and people forget that Disney is not producing this game. Disney has nothing to do with this game. They sold the licensing to Ravensburger to use their characters. Disney barely even knows this game exists. But it will start to become, you know, more mainstream in all of the Disney platforms, you know, as they continue. Ravensburger has done a great job at getting it out there like that.
There go.
All right.
There's 1 minute. Called Lorcana.
1 minute left. Secret sauce. Go.
We are not doing a 60-second secret sauce. Donald, we wish you a very, very happy birthday on behalf of Josh and maybe Louie. But all of our viewers, we wish you a very happy 29th birthday.
I don't look a day over 29, right?
How old are you turning?
I'm 41.
We're the same age.
Somebody told me yesterday I didn't look a day over 40.
It's true.
Pretty good.
It's
I like
true.
that.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, wish Donald a happy birthday in the comment section.
I want nothing but happy birthday songs written out in full below us.
You can go subscribe to Donald's channel at Scruffy Looking Gaming. I
That's true.
don't think he's made a video in over a year,
can.
but you can go subscribe. That'd be great. You can follow along at KitchenTableTCG.com in the Discord servers. And George has a special YouTube channel on the internet that nobody's found yet. So go look for George. And remember to be kind to the people around you. May the zoo be with you.
And also with you, Donald.
And also with me and you, George.
Thank you.
And Louis.
Nah,
Somehow that wasn't the most awkward thing that you said on the podcast.
That's fair.
the 2 dancing was pretty good.